Namaste. It's Jacci. We're going to do a little bit of yoga practice together. So this will be about a 40 minute practice. So give yourself a little bit of time to do some self-care. If you have a yoga mat, you can place that out on the floor. If you have something, we'll do some things on hands and knees. And if you have something to pad your knees, a blanket or a towel or something may be helpful. And take the time to get yourself settled, close the door of the room that you're in, and turn off your devices so that you can just take a little bit of time for yourself. We all need that. And we're going to begin lying down on our back. So once you've gotten yourself together, you can come to lie down on your back and take a moment to just get yourself oriented. So stretch your arms up over your head and see if you have room behind you, and take a few reaching breaths. And then bring your arms down and maybe letting your knees rock side to side, noticing the hips, noticing the back. Just beginning to bring your attention into your body to start to notice. If you like, you can pick your feet up one at a time and draw them into your chest, and you can rock here. You may notice how it feels to have your knees close together, or how it feels to have your knees wider apart as you rock. What feels good for you today? You might do some movement with your feet, do some ankle circles, and while you're circling your ankles, some wrist circles, also nice joint rotations, are good for the joints, of course, and soothing for the brain. So a few little joint rotations, and then just a little shake off the day. Shake your feet, shake your hands, and then lower your feet to the floor. Take a couple of resting breaths, so let your knees be bent. You could even rest your hands on your belly and just glance around with your eyes. Let your eyes move up and down and side to side. And again, this is a way to orient yourself and to also start to bring your awareness and attention here, to be more present, to be more aware. So as we begin, we're going to focus on some slow movement and some slow breathing. So please let your hands come down by your sides with the palms facing down. And take a big inhale through your nose and sweep your arms up over your head to the floor behind you. And you might even watch your hands with your eyes as far as you can see. And then as you exhale and lower the hands back down by your sides, pull in your belly. You want to hug in the abdomen. And do that a couple more times. So slow inhale. Take the whole inhale to lift your arms up. A whole exhale to bring your hands down. And you just want to try to breathe as slowly and smoothly as you can. So whatever's comfortable for you. One more breath. You're welcome to breathe a little faster or a little slower than me. And then exhale your arms down. Pull your belly in. And then please draw the knees into your chest. You can pick them up one at a time. And then similar movement with the legs. Please inhale both legs up toward the ceiling. Flex your feet. Push your heels up. Exhale, bend your knees. You might see how it feels to point and squeeze your toes here. Inhale, push your legs up, spread your toes. Exhale, bend the knees, point and squeeze. And again, if the knees are a little wide, if that's more comfortable, that's fine. One more time, legs up, inhale, spread your toes, and bend the knees, squeeze. Now this time add your arms. So as the legs go up, arms go up, everything floats up with the breath. Exhale, bend the knees, lower your arms. So we think about lengthening. So we're lengthening the legs, we're lengthening the arms and the spine. Big breath. Exhale, bend the knees, lower your arms. We'll do that one more time. Legs up, arms up, big inhale. And bend the knees, lower your arms, exhale. And then please let your feet come back down to the floor and lie flat. We're going to do a little movement, again, coordinating with the breath. So when you're lying flat, flex your feet. So push through the heels, spread the toes. You should feel your quadriceps engage a bit. And then while your legs are engaged, inhale your arms up over your head. And with your slow exhale, lower your arms down and draw your right knee into your chest. Give it a hug. Notice that hip. And then inhale the leg goes back down to the floor, arms back up over your head. And then other side. So exhale, left knee in, pull your belly in, squeeze the left hip. Inhale back out. And then depending on how this feels for you, both knees. So exhale, both knees into your chest, give them a hug. And when you inhale, we'll stretch the legs back out. If your back is a little tweaky, you might just slide your heels down the mat so you don't strain your back. Okay, so again, exhale, right knee in, give it a hug. This is exhale, we're squeezing the air out. Inhale, big breath. Arms up, leg down. Exhale, left knee into your chest. Give it a little hug. Inhale, big breath, and then as comfortably as you can, exhale both knees into your chest, pull your belly in. And again, when you stretch out, if you like to slide your heels down your mat so you don't strain your back, do it that way. All right, different movement now. Exhale, right knee into the chest. And on the in-breath, let the right knee open out to the right side. And on the exhale, draw that knee across the midline into a little baby twist, not too far here. Inhale back to the center, and when your hip is on the floor, lift that leg up toward the ceiling. Flex both feet. And then exhale, bend the knee, give it a hug. And if you like, you can lift your chest up toward your knee here. And on the inhale, lower that leg down, arms up over your head. And we'll repeat that with the left leg. So exhale, left knee in, draw your belly in. Inhale, open left knee out to the left side. Exhale, baby twist. So just draw that knee across. Try to do the movement with your leg. Don't pull it over with your hand. And then inhale back to the center. Straighten the leg. Flex both feet. Exhale, bend the knee. Give it a hug. You're welcome to lift your chest here. Inhale, legs down to the floor. One time, both knees into your chest. So exhale, both knees in. Inhale, stretch back out. And then one more sequence with the right leg. Exhale, pull the knee in and hug your belly in. And then inhale, right knee out to the right side. Exhale your knee across your body into a little twist without using your hand to pull. Just let your leg, your belly, do the movement. Inhale, center, and lengthen that leg toward the ceiling. Flex both feet. Exhale, bend the knee, give it a hug. Lift your chest if you can. And then stretching out on your in-breath, both arms up, both legs down. Exhale the left knee into the chest. Inhale, open the leg out to the left side. Exhale, draw it across your body, little twist without pulling with your hand. Inhale back to the center, lift the leg up, flex the feet. Exhale, bend the knee. Give it a hug and lift your chest if you like. Last one, inhale, stretch out, and then both knees one more time. Exhale, both knees in. And you can just keep your knees up in the air. If you lift your chest, it's fine. And just keep your knees into your chest and rock. Kind of wake up the joints there in that little sequence. And then we'll come to hands and knees for the next part. So lower your feet and roll to your side. Please use your hands to push yourself up. And when you come to all fours, you may want to use some padding under your knees. So I have a blanket here I'm going to put under my knees. You could use whatever you've got. You don't have to pad your knees, but I'm a fan. All right, we're going to start here in the tabletop position. We're going to stack up the shoulders over the wrists and the hips over the knees. And as you inhale here, lift your chest, your eyes. Maybe you feel a little stretch in your belly. Exhale, pull the belly in so the back starts to round, and then back to child's pose, letting your elbows touch down and your hips fold back, bow your head. Inhale, gliding back up to tabletop. Lift the chest, and then exhale, pulling the navel in so the low back rounds and fold back to child's pose. And again, inhale, tabletop, little lift to the chest. Exhale, belly in, rounding back. Now, inhale, tabletop, and pause, and take a moment to come up to stand on your knees. Again, here the padding under your knees may be helpful. And we're going to lift the arms up over the head, a little bit like what we did lying on the back. So please inhale your arms up, your eyes up, open up, big breath. take the whole exhale to lower your arms down, pull your belly in, lower your eyes. And again, inhale, arms up. Exhale down. Now this one we're going to add a little twist to the movement. So the same inhale, lift your arms up. And on the exhale, please bend your elbows out to the side. We'll call that cactus arms. And turn, chest, shoulders, eyes. And on the in-breath, come back to the center, lift both arms back up. Now go the other side. Exhale, cactus arms, belly in, turn. Inhale, back up. Good. Exhale, we'll do the turn to each side one more time, hugging in the belly here. Inhale, center. Exhale, turn. Inhale, center, lift, lift, lift. And then exhale, both arms all the way down. And 2 more times, both arms up. A variation you could do is to lift your arms out to the side and up if that just feels better for your shoulders. And same on the way down or forward, you can decide. Inhale up. And exhale all the way down. Take a pause when your arms are down. Move your shoulders, move your neck. See how you feel. Good. And then we're going to come back to all fours. Okay. And on the in-breath, lift your chest and your eyes. On the exhale, rounding back to child's pose. So same movement we did before. And on the inhale, back up to tabletop. Now we're going to exhale back to child's pose. And on the in-breath, we're going to do that movement we just did. So see if you can inhale, lift your chest, lift your arms, come all the way up to standing on your knees. This is called lightning pose. And on the exhale, slowly bow all the way back down to child's pose. Inhale up to tabletop, lift your chest and eyes. Exhale back to child's pose. And here we go again, up to lightning pose. Lift the arms, lift the chest, rise all the way up. And with as much control as you can, all the way back down to child's pose. And again, inhale, tabletop, lift your chest. Navel in as you round back to child's pose. And think about lengthening your arms, lifting your chest to come up. Recruit those back muscles to help you. Exhale all the way down to child's pose. And then inhale to tabletop and pause. So take your hands, spread them wide, and we're going to push up to downward facing dog now. So beginning with your joints stacked up, tuck your toes under, and when you exhale, you can lift your hips up. Pushing down through your hands, you can pedal out your legs any way that you like. See what feels good for you here. And then, similar movement, we're going to alternate tabletop and downward dog. So inhale with as much control as you can. Lower your knees slowly down to the floor. Lift your chest and eyes. Exhale, pull your belly in, push back up to dog pose. We're going to do that 3 more times. And one option here for just a little more work is when you lower down, don't actually touch. Just let your knees hover over the floor so they're not really touching. And exhale back up using your belly. So again, inhale down to your knees or hover. Lift the chest. Exhale, navel in as you push back up. And one more time. Inhale to your knees or hover if you like. And exhale back to dog pose. This time you can hold dog pose again for a moment. Taking a few breaths. And then when you feel ready to come out of the pose, and you're welcome to hold it a little bit longer, you can come up to standing. Maybe 1 or 2 more breaths in your dog pose if you like. If you had some padding under your knees, clear that out of the way. And then if you didn't already, make your way up to standing. Give everything a little shake. Shake your hands, shake your legs. All right, we're going to swing just a little bit. So let your feet step wide. This is a great movement. You're going to let your arms flop around and tap your back. It's called empty coat sleeves, like a kid in a big coat. You want to let your head turn. You want to even let that back heel rock up off the floor so that you get a little movement in your hips. Nice movement any time of the day. Nice, particularly nice in the morning when you're trying to get your digestion going. All right, come to standing nice and tall and take a moment to just notice how it feels to stand on your feet. How's your posture? Can you draw your shoulders back? Can you lift your chest a little bit? Good. And we're going to do a movement in the Warrior One pose in a moment. Before we do it, we're going to focus a little bit on our breath. So please let your hands touch your belly. And on your in-breath, let your hands float out to the side. See how much you can expand in the chest, front, back, and sides with your breath. And on the exhale, as the air moves out, touch your belly, and you want to hug in the abdomen. So there's this wrapping in feeling. And just one more breath like that. Inhale. Hug the belly in. Exhale. All right, we're going to do this movement in our Warrior One. So we're going to take our cactus arms up. And breathing into your chest, inhale, draw the elbows back, feel your shoulder blades hug together. And on the exhale, as you draw the elbows into the center, see if they can touch, see if you can lift high, pull your belly in, and inhale, open. So just feel your breath with that movement. And one more time, exhale, elbows in, belly in, feel your shoulder blades stretching here, and then on the inhale, feel your shoulder blades hugging together. And then you can lower your arms down, and we'll step the feet into the position for the Warrior One pose. So with your feet hip-width apart, please step your right foot forward so that it's in line with your right hip. And your left foot back, it's at a little bit of an angle, and the left foot in line with the left hip. So there's a little width between your feet. And then take a test bend in your front knee. So we want that front knee to be lined up over the heel, pretty much. So you can adjust your feet if you need to. On the exhale, as you straighten that leg, here's that touch of the belly like we did before. And then we're going to add that arm movement with the cactus arms. So please bend your knee, lift your cactus arms out to the side. You can even push your chest forward here. Hug the shoulder blades together. And on the exhale, hug your belly and straighten the leg. Let the elbows come to the center, lift and touch. And then inhale, bend the knee, open the chest, pushing the chest forward. Exhale, center, hug the belly in, lift as much as you can. Inhale, bend the knee, open. Exhale, hugging in, and then we're going to hold the pose. So bend the knee, open, and you may notice I'm leaning forward slightly. I'm trying to push the chest forward. Exhale, elbows hug down slightly. Inhale, chest, eyes, hands lift a little. Exhale, elbows down. You could try tucking your chin here. Nice stretch of the back of the neck. Inhale, chest, hands, eyes lift. One more. Exhale. Inhale. Just stay one more breath, no movement with the arms. Exhale. Inhale. Feel your strong legs working. Now on the exhale, bring your hands down. And if you like downward dog, you could do downward dog pose here for a few breaths. Otherwise, you can stand up with me, give your legs a little shake, and we'll do that swinging movement again. So you can step your feet out about shoulder width apart and let your arms swing and your head turn. So if you're doing downward dog, maybe one or two more breaths there, and then come on up and stand. You might do a little swinging with us. And then come to standing with your feet a wee bit about shoulder width apart. We're going to do a little forward fold here before we do our warrior pose on the other side. So please bring your hands to the sides of your body. Take an in-breath. On the exhale, hug your belly in. Let the knees bend almost like a squat, and we're going to slide the hands down. You could go halfway down, or if it's comfortable for you to let your head hang, you can bow all the way down. And then on the inhale, slide your hands up first. Lift your chest. Remember how we came up out of our lightning pose? And use your back muscles. Exhale down, and again, maybe only go halfway. Slide your hands up first. You can use your back muscles to help you come up to standing. And one more. Exhale, bow. Belly in. Slide the hands up, lift the chest, come on up. Good. And then just let your shoulders relax. And then we'll take the warrior pose on the other side. So if you start with your feet hip-width apart, we'll step the left foot comfortably forward so it's right in line with the left hip. The right foot back so it's right over there in line with the right hip. That back foot's turned out at an angle. Take a test bend here. Make sure your front knee pretty much right over your heel on that bend. On the exhale, as you straighten the leg, you can touch your belly, get that wrapping in feeling. And now we'll begin with the cactus arms. So inhale, bend the knee, lift your arms, push your chest forward, hug your shoulder blades together. Exhale, straighten the leg, hug your elbows to the middle, and pull your belly in. Inhale, coming into the pose, opening the chest. Exhale, belly in, hug together. Inhale, bend the knee, lift the chest. Exhale. We're going to hold on the next one. So inhale, pushing the chest forward. Exhale, tuck the elbows down, tuck the chin, belly in. Inhale, tiny lift in the elbows and the hands and the eyes. Exhale through the nose, tuck the elbows down, tuck the chin, belly in. Inhale, little lift, hands, elbows, eyes. One more, exhale. One more, inhale, and then just hold in place. Just your breath. When you get to the next exhale, you can bring your hands down. Again, if you like downward dog, you could take a downward dog pose here. Otherwise, you can come up to standing with me and give everything a little shake. A little more swinging. Super nice movement. You can do it any time. If you tend to sit a lot, you can stand up on a break and do a little swinging. So a technique you can use here to stretch your neck. So right now I'm letting my head turn with my shoulders, and if you're in downward dog, you can come up and join us. If you want, you can try to turn your head over the opposite shoulder. So as my arms swing one way, the head turns the other way. Nice little stretch for your neck. All right, and then come back to the center, stand nice and tall. We're going to do a forward fold again after that warrior pose, but different this time. So we're going to step the feet out quite wide. So I'll say like one leg's distance apart, but you can find the spot that's steady for you. And we're going to do wide leg downward dog. So to come down into the pose, you can bend your knees, slide your hands down your legs and find the floor. And you may find it nice to kind of pedal out your legs a little bit at the beginning here, holding onto the floor, or if the floor is a little far away, you could put a yoga block under your hands. So you keep your chest nice and lifted. See what you feel. It's a nice movement. And then centering the weight over your hips and heels, you can walk your hands forward like down dog. They can be a little wider. You can have your knees bent a little. You can even kind of bend and straighten the legs here. You could let your head hang down. It doesn't work too well for me because it muffles the microphone, but if you want to let your head hang, you can do that. The wide leg forward folds can be really nice for the low back. So if you tend to have low back pain, this is a nice way to stretch out. So for the next part, we're going to come back down to lie on our back. So if you like, you can just try to make your way down onto the floor from here. Just put your knees down and come back to lie on your back. And once you're on your back, you can again get yourself situated, even up your hips and shoulders. Let your legs rest for a moment and wrap your hands around your shoulders. Give yourself a little pat on the back, a little hug, and say nice things. Oh, good job. I am so happy to be here with you. And other nice things. And then just switch your arms. Give yourself another hug. Cross your arms the opposite way. And rock. And then let your arms come down by your sides and can adjust your neck and shoulders so they're comfortable. And we're going to do a couple little movements with our legs, a couple of stretches. So the first one is a little stretch for the hip and the glutes. So you cross your right ankle over your left thigh, and you can rock here. And depending on how that feels for your knee and your hip, you could just keep your left foot on the floor, or if you like, you can use your belly and your left leg to pick that foot up off of the floor. So a typical way that people do this pose is to hold on to that left leg with the hands. And I've just been playing lately with not using my hands at all. So my shoulders and my neck can relax, and I'm using that left leg, I'm using my belly a little bit to keep the foot up off of the floor, and then you can rock and see how that feels. Now, if it's necessary, if you need to hold on with your hands somewhere, that's okay, but you could try it. Just let your shoulders, your neck relax as you explore the sensations in your right hip, glutes. Shouldn't hurt your knee, of course. Can rock. Another little trick is to take your yoga block, if you have one, and put it up underneath your left foot. It's got different heights, so you can go pretty high if you like. And then you can just rest your leg on the block, and it's a nice little trick, nice little tool. You can put this foot on a wall. That's also a really great way to do the pose because the wall just doesn't move. It's a good one. All right, go ahead and release that side. Whatever you were doing is, just see what you feel. Uncross your legs. And before we do that on the other hip, we're going to stretch out the front of the right hip. So please bring your feet wide, and we're going to do a couple of windshield wipers. So exhale. You're going to have your feet at least as wide as your mat. Let the exhale take your knees over to the right. So make sure that's not hurting your knee or your hip. You could put support under that right leg if you like. Take a breath into the front of the right hip, and then inhale to the center, and we're going to go over to the left and hold for a moment. Again, you can support your legs, and here's the stretch down the front of the right hip, front of the right leg. And just a couple breaths there. And then please inhale to the center and gently walk your feet back in. Okay, so now left ankle over the right thigh. Okay, and we're going to pick up the right foot, perhaps. So you could just stay here with your foot on the floor. And for some people, that's really quite enough. But if you want to use this right leg, use your belly, pick that foot up. And again, already when I pick my foot up, my neck goes, ugh. So I'm going to put my foot back down, take a breath, soften my shoulders and neck, and I'm going to try to use my leg and my belly and keep my neck and shoulders relaxed. So you can try, you can play with it and see what's interesting for you. And of course, if you must hold on to your leg and pull, just try to not invite your shoulders and your neck. So try to do the work with your legs. And then as you rock, you may find some interesting spots over in your left hip, left glutes. You might hold one of those little interesting spots and take a couple of breaths with a sigh. Keep exploring, keep noticing. And then again, go back to your neck and shoulders. See if you've engaged, you've gotten your shoulders and your neck tensed up again. Again, you could use the prop, the yoga block under your foot, or put your foot up on a wall. Very effective. And then go ahead and release the feet down to the floor. Take a breath. Let your feet come nice and wide. So just let the knees go left. And we're going to take a breath to stretch out the inside of the left leg, in those inner thighs there. Breath or two there. And then let the in-breath bring your knees back up and go to the other side. And a few breaths to stretch out the front of the left hip and the quadriceps. So feel free to prop up your legs so that you don't feel it in your knees or your hip joints. You can prop up the left knee on the inside of that knee. That's a really useful tool for many people. Couple of breaths here. And then please inhale your knees back to the center. And we're going to do one more movement here. We want to do a little symmetrical movement after those twists and asymmetrical hip stretches. So please walk your feet in hip width apart. Have your knees bent pretty good amount. We're going to do the bridge pose. So bring your hands palms down by your sides and let your neck be even. Look up toward the ceiling. And when you get to your next in-breath, please let your hips push up toward the ceiling any amount. Let the exhale bring you back down, pull your belly in. Now try to keep your knees in line with your hips so they don't go out to the side. So on your in-breath, push up. You might think about your knees moving toward each other isometrically. Exhale down, belly in. So you could do that a couple more breaths, inhaling up and exhaling down, or if you like, you can lift and hold. So inhale, lift, and you're welcome to come right back down on your exhale, or you could stay up. If you're choosing to stay up, you want to keep your neck even. It's a little bit, you may notice, we did that movement where we tucked the chin in our warrior. It does that a little bit. It stretches the back of the neck a little bit. Full breath. So feel free to stay another breath or two, and when you're ready, exhale down. Once you've come down, please draw your knees into your chest one at a time and hug them in and rock. So at the beginning, we were rocking. You again might have your knees wide. You can circle your ankles, even shake your feet a little bit. Anything that feels nice for your back. And then please let your feet come back down to the floor one at a time. Just going to let the legs rest. And for many people, so please have your knees bent for this first part. Many people like having the feet a little bit apart and the knees touching. And then you can rest your hands wherever you like, maybe on your belly. And begin to let go of any effort to do anything, any effort to breathe, any effort to move your body in any particular way. And just start to get comfortable. If you're comfortable closing your eyes, let the eyes close, and then notice your neck and your shoulders and your hips. So if there's any adjustment you can make there to get comfortable, do that. And then as we shift toward the relaxation part of the practice, toward Shavasana, you may just like to stay here with your knees bent, or it may be comfortable for you to lie flat. Some people will put a bolster, a rolled up blanket, or something under the knees so there's a little bend in the knees. For some people, this takes some discomfort out of the low back. Or just having your knees bent, or even resting your legs up in a chair or on the sofa can be really good. It's restful to elevate the legs and the feet, so if that's helpful for you today, please do that. Get settled. If you feel a little chilly, you could put a blanket or something on top of you so you're a little bit warmer, or add some extra clothing. So take a moment to get settled in a position where you can rest for the next 5 minutes or so. And as we begin to settle, I'll say a closing message, a closing prayer. May you be safe. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be at ease. May we all be safe. May we all be happy. May we all be healthy, and may we all live with ease. May we all live in peace. Please give yourself permission to rest for the next few minutes, 5, even 10 minutes if you have it. If you happen to fall asleep, just let yourself have that. If it's hard for you to lie still, and it is for some people, try to stay for 12 breaths. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Namaste.